actually had gone on a vacation with my now fiance, soon to be wife, and it was the first real break that I took from the corporate world, right? And this was around, I want to say September of 2016. And, the last day of the trip, I was really sad. And I couldn't put my finger on why. But she, kind of explored with me and asked, and I realized that I was dreading going back to work. And for a number of different reasons, pressure, expectations, all these things. And during that time, I realized like, hey, I need to do something different than what I'm doing right now. And I had tried starting a couple businesses. The key thing was that they didn't make any money. So they quickly sort of burnt out. But those I look back on as well with a lot of appreciation, because those were lessons that I needed to learn, right? Like each business that I started before I started my agency, taught me things: how to build a website, how to do SEO, how to create a blog, like all these things that eventually would suit me in my social media agency journey. And long story short, came back from the trip and texted my now business partner, Derek, who I'd worked together with in the past. And I said, hey, like I'm thinking of starting a business. At the time, it was a completely different idea, which I'll don't need to get into. But he said, hey, I also am pretty unhappy in my job. Let's chat. And he was working at a very large marketing agency for law firms, but he was on the sales side. And he said, hey, like our margins are crazy. I just realized, what if we offered this as a service to people, doing social media for them? I see how much these deals I'm closing are worth, and I see what it takes to deliver these services, and our margins seem to be pretty good. And, we both like social media. So what if we went ahead and went down that route? So without really knowing a lot about the industry, we decided to jump into it. And the big thing was that, again, I just lost a decent amount of money for me at the time on a couple of businesses that I had started, and decided I wanted to do it for as cheaply as we possibly could, right? So a couple $100, came up with a name, built the website, came up with a name, created a logo with Photoshop, and neither of us are designers, if that gives you any idea of what our first logo looked like, right? Built the website, came up with a name, created a proposal document, all these wares basically in one Saturday afternoon sprint. We just worked as hard as we could for like 8 hours straight, and then went out for beers and basically started the agency in a day. And because we had come from a sales background, we said, hey, look, let's just start, doing outreach to people, see who needs help with social media.